Panther Nation, what's good? Welcome back to the Roster Build series. Yes, we're back. This time we're going to take a look at the depth, short and long term. Let's check it out.
You are now tuned into the Panther Nation podcast.
Delhomme fires to an open Smith. Steve Smith is going to go all the way. No flag down. Smith scores, and the Carolina Panthers win in overtime. He's intercepted by Kuechly. Kuechly inside the 20 to the 10 and to the end zone for another Panther.
What's good, Panther Nation? So today we're going to take a look at the depth. Each position we're going to take a look at the depth. The short and long-term depth of that position, okay? So, for instance, I'm going to take a look at the offensive line. We know we have some huge issues in the offensive line moving forward. I'm going to tell you how bad it is, okay? But we're going to dive into it at a high level. And just say, hey, we know our offensive line needs some help. Let's take a look at what we can do. We can extend Taylor Moton, maybe, or it should happen, yes, but is it going to happen? I don't know. Or we need to go address this position in the draft. I'm just going to do a quick little point out of each position and say, hey, this is where we need work. Again, we're not going to dive into the numbers and potential extension numbers just yet, but we're just going to identify those positions in need. Right now, that's what we're going to do. All right, so let's jump into it. All right, Panther Nation, so here we go. This is what we're going to do for each position. Again, this is the spreadsheet that I talked about yesterday or in the prior session with I gave you the introduction. We talked about the spreadsheet. If you need a quick reference, go back to that spreadsheet so you can kind of understand what you're looking at. However, I did add one column, and that's the Pro Football Focus grade. So we know how some of you may or may not know how the Pro Football Focus metrics are handled. It's a pretty trustworthy grade. However, there are some nuances to it, and we'll talk about those when we hit some of those little nuances. But it's just a guide. Again, all of this information is just a guide. Sometimes you have to use your own eyeballs to kind of figure out what's going on and make your own judgments. But this is just a guide as to where we should go, okay? Again, not the gospel, just a guide, all right? So let's take a look. Okay, so right now this is the entire offensive line. Yes, I could filter it by position, but I just want to make sure that we look at the offensive line as a whole. Okay, and here's the deal here. So here's what makes me really nervous about the offensive line. Look at all of these contracts that are expiring. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You got 8 contracts that are expiring in 2021. So all these guys are free agents. We only got one guy you got one exclusive rights free agent, and you have one restricted free agent. I think this one might be key. I think Trent Scott is a guy that will be back. You have his rights, but again, he's not playing that great. But he is young as well. He's still 26. He's got some time. I think this is a solid depth piece you want to keep. That's something you can build around. But other than that, I mean, there's really nothing here. I mean, of course, you got Taylor Moton. You want to extend Taylor Moton, and again, we talked about this yesterday or in the prior introductory section. But the overall value, look at how much more he's outplaying his contract. His current average salary per year is $1 million and some change. He's playing like a $15 million tackle. Okay, this is huge. There's no reason why this guy should not be extended. I don't know why it is, and honestly, I'm really starting to think it's not going to happen. So if this does not happen, there is our complete offensive line we could have like 5 new guys next year realistically, because Matt Paradis, while he is under contract through 2022, we actually can opt out of his contract this year and take a little bit of dead money. It's somewhere where we can get an out. I'm not saying we should. I'm just saying that if we wanted to move on, and again, he's 30 years old. Russell Okung, 31 years old. These guys are older guys. I'm not sure how much we're going to invest in those guys long term. Do you try to find somebody younger? Maybe, but this is a huge problem. Our offensive line is a huge problem moving forward. Your highest graded guys, your 2 highest graded guys are looking like they're not going to be on the roster next year. And then you take a look at Russell Okung. not playing up to his salary, although he is graded very well. The injury issues as well is part of the problem. He's not playing up to his contract. His value should be around $3 million. That's debatable, but again, that metric does include a bunch of things, including participation. So there is some injury concerns with Taylor Moton that is causing his value to drop. Okay, but it is concerning that your two best offensive linemen contracts expire this year or in 2021. It's essentially they're going to be free agents. This is their contract year. So very concerning in the offensive line. The only piece you really have moving forward that's a starter is Matt Paradis, and then he's playing well, playing above his contract value. So do you keep him around? Sure, but I don't know if you're going to invest in him long term. We know that centers can play. We saw Ryan Khalil play into his mid-30s. He started to deteriorate at the end, but we don't know. So should we go out and look for offensive line help in the draft? Absolutely, we need help 100% wherever we can get it. This needs to be fixed, and it's our biggest issue moving forward. Okay, and let's take a look at some other positions. Okay, let's take a look at some other positions. Let's uncheck all these, and let's take a look at running back. Okay, running back could be interesting. We'll include the fullback as well in this. So running backs. All right, running backs. We're okay. We're okay. There is some interesting information here around Mike Davis. Mike Davis is playing up to McCaffrey's 76.6 grade. It's close, and again, these 70 grades are really good. Okay, again, look at the color code, not necessarily the number, because the number doesn't really indicate. 70 in PFF is actually really good. Okay, so just keep that in mind. But you got Mike Davis coming up. Do we extend Mike Davis? I don't know. According to what he's putting up, the numbers he's putting up, he could potentially garner about $10 million. That's probably not going to happen, but he's playing at that level, okay? Just because he's playing at that level does not mean he will get a contract at that level. It's just kind of give you an idea about where he's playing. I don't think he's going to get that. If they can get him back at a lower amount, it'd be great to have two solid running backs, but I don't see him coming back next year. That's just me. This is actually a guy I would have looked to trade. I would have looked to trade Mike Davis and get some picks, okay? I know you're like, why would you trade Mike Davis? Well, if he's not in your long-term plan and you haven't given him an extension yet, you need to look to move on, okay? You need to look to move on. We should have traded Mike Davis with Christian McCaffrey coming back. I think you have some other guys you could have picked up, but you could have tried to get some assets for Mike Davis. Again, you cannot let guys walk for nothing. You have to get something in return for these guys when they're walking away. Same with Taylor Moton. If Taylor Moton is not going to be extended, you need to trade him. You could have traded him. That's another guy you could have traded and I know it's crazy, but you need to trade him. If you're not going to extend him, at least get something in return so that you can continue to build your roster. You can use those picks, combine those picks together, and move. One risky strategy they could be looking forward to is trying to get a comp pick for Moton. We'll go into comp picks later, but that could be a strategy as well. When players get signed away, you get some compensation back. I don't know what they're doing with Moton, but that's just a whole nother discussion. But again, if these guys are not going to be in your long-term plan, you need to trade them off to get assets. You need to be sellers, just like the Jets are. Again, the Jets they're doing it on a whole nother level, but that's what happens when you're in a rebuild. You need to sell so you can get more assets to proceed with your rebuild, okay? It makes it a lot easier. The more picks, the better, okay? So as far as Trenton Cannon, we still have Trenton Cannon. Alex Arma is another guy who is an unrestricted free agent that is getting ready to his contract is getting ready to expire. Currently overplaying his contract value at the moment, but I don't know if I'm paying a fullback $1 million. I think fullbacks could be replaceable. I know he's flexible as far as positions. We'll see what happens there. I don't know, but again, just another unrestricted free agent that we have to worry about. Okay, now let's take a look at wide receivers. Let's take a look at the wide receivers because I think that could be interesting. Wide receivers. All right, here we go. All right, so Robbie Anderson outplaying his contract by $2 million, and that's a really good sign. This is what you want to see. You want to see guys that you just paid outplaying their contract. Again, he's playing at a almost $13 million value. He's playing very well. He's playing over his value. That's what you want to see, especially with the guy that's under contract for multiple years. Same with your guys playing on rookie contracts. You want those guys to be outplaying their current contract value, and that's what you're seeing with DJ Moore. He's only getting paid almost close to $3 million a year, but he's outplaying that by a lot. He's playing at a $13 million level, which is really good. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Curtis Samuel, he's a really good. Look at these three receiver grades. Really good. I think you need to keep the band together personally. I think you need to find a way to keep these guys together. Curtis Samuel's contract expired. Again, another guy that if he's not a part of your long-term plan, you need to trade him. And it's what's really going to piss me off is that if we had trade offers on the table for Curtis Samuel in the offseason, we did not accept them. We did not accept those offers. So now, if he's not going to be part of your plans, you're going to get nothing in return if he decides to go elsewhere. Now, this is where it gets really tricky with Curtis Samuel. Now, look, his overall value is about $3 million, close to $4 million a year. Okay, now this is where it gets tricky because one team, and this is why this number is not necessarily accurate, because there's another team out there that could value Curtis Samuel way more than we do, and it's going to be willing to pay him a lot more than this number. Okay, he could go upwards to about $7, $8, $9, $10 million a year if a team values him in that way. So that's why you have to lock him up before it gets to this point. You have to get your guys before it gets to this point. That way you avoid the risk of them being poached by another team. I think Curtis Samuel is a guy that I think we want to keep around. He's a third down machine, a conversion machine, and Mr. Third Down. He's the new Mr. Third Down. I know y'all remember Jarius Wright, who was the old Mr. Third Down. Curtis Samuel is a new Mr. Third Down, and I think he needs to be a part of the plan moving forward, and we need to find a way to keep him around personally. That's my personal opinion. He's a weapon. You got to keep him. So that's good. That's enough for the wide receivers. Is there anything else we can point out? You got a couple guys could be moving on. Keith Kirkwood is a restricted free agent. Zylstra is another restricted free agent that you have. And this is interesting right here. Omar Bayless, who we know who is on IR right now. This is a guy that could be pretty good. We have him under contract until 2023. And he's a restricted free agent. So we are in good shape with Omar Bayless. You can tell they value him a lot. In order to give him essentially a 2-3 year deal, and give him that restricted free agent designation, that means they value him, and they don't want him to get poached from another team. So Omar Bayless, keep an eye on him moving forward. This could be a guy that they could build around. All right. So let's move on. Let's find another position group. Let's look at the tight ends. Tight ends. We aren't really valuing them that much. They're not in our plans, our offensive plan. I mean, Colin Thompson, we have his exclusive rights free agent designation on him. But I think, honestly, man, I like Ian Thomas a lot, but I think all these guys are pretty much replaceable in the way that we use them. We don't value the tight end position. We value more of the blocking tight end. So Chris Manhertz, we got to make a decision on him. His contract expires. And Ian Thomas is under contract through 2022. But if you look, they're both outplaying their value. They should be getting paid around $3 million. They're only getting paid around $1 million each. Again, don't know if they're going to be a long-term plan. We don't use them that much, so I definitely see them as replaced. I don't see us investing a ton of money or draft capital in tight ends. Okay, this is my personal opinion. Could be wrong. Let's take a look at the quarterbacks. All right, so. And again, some of these PFF grades, there's not enough information to give them a grade. That's why there's a 0 there. We haven't seen Will Grier all season. Philip Walker, PJ Walker, we saw him in a couple snaps. So that grade, I'm just gonna disregard that. But look at Teddy. Teddy's playing okay. Again, don't look at that 68 as bad. That's not bad. That's actually okay. He's playing okay. We have him under contract through 2023. We're good. He'll be an unrestricted free agent. And look at this right here. Current annual salary per year is $21 million. He's currently playing at a $27 million value. Okay, so we have a good value in Teddy Bridgewater. I want people to understand that. The quarterback position is a valuable position. People are paying arms and legs for bad quarterbacks. When you have a good quarterback, this number is not bad at all. Okay, if you look around the league at the salaries being played out, at the salaries being paid out, this is not bad at all. Okay, so that $21 million, again, I brought it up on the Monday show. We're worried about a $26 million cap hit in 2023. Listen, he's already outplaying his contract, okay, according to these metrics. And I do trust this one. This is one I do trust because I know that quarterbacks are being overpaid. A lot of bad quarterbacks get really big contracts. That's why this number is accurate to me. And I think Teddy Bridgewater is playing playing above his current contract level. So I do agree with this, okay? So quarterbacks, we're in good shape with the quarterbacks. Okay, we're in good shape with the quarterbacks. Long term. Okay, so let's move on. I think we've seen all of the offense. Let's take a look at the defense. Let's take a look at the tackles, defensive tackles. All right, so right now, Zach Kerr. Look, Zach Kerr has the highest grade. He's 30. He's 30 years old, so that's a little cause of concern. I don't know if he's going to be around in the long term. We do have him under contract for another year. Could be interesting. Again, not a part. I don't know if he's going to be part of the long-term plan. And remember, when I'm saying a part of the long-term plan, I'm starting to think about that window. When does that Super Bowl window open? That's what I'm thinking about. I don't know if he's going to be in that plan. We need to start figuring this out. K'Wan Short, we got to figure out what's going on with K'Wan Short. I don't know what we're going to do here. K'Wan Short is someone that we probably need to look to move on from. Look at his current annual salary per year, $16 million. Of course, injury plays into this, but even if he was playing healthy, I don't think he's playing up to this amount. Nowhere close. So his current overall value, again, skewed because of injury, but this is someone we need to look to recoup some money from. When we bring up the salary cap calculator one day, or in one episode, I'm going to show you how much we can get back from cutting K'Wan Short. It's something we need to explore because he's under contract through 2022, but we can get some of that money back and start looking for a replacement. Bravion Roy, Woodrow Hamilton, they ain't it, okay? Bravion Roy is a 6th-round pick, so I don't expect it from him just yet, or at all maybe. But he's under contract through 2024. Woodrow Hamilton, we have him for a restricted free agent. I don't think he's that good. He had a couple solid plays so far, but again, I don't know if he's going to be that guy. And then you got Derrick Brown. This grade, I don't know, seems a bit low to me, but Derrick Brown is doing Derrick Brown things. According to them, he's not playing up to his salary. He's playing about $1 million and a half under what he's supposed to be, what he's making. So that is what it is. I think it's rookie. We'll see what happens with Derrick. I have no concerns about Derrick Brown long term, so I'm A-okay with that. But if you look at what we're doing, especially next year, if you look at 2022, it's thin. It's thin for the rotation. K'Wan Short probably going to be out of here. We're going to look at Zach Carr and Derrick Brown, Bravion Roy in rotation. And then we don't know what happens with Woodrow Hamilton. Probably going to be re-signed, but could be a practice squad guy. So we have some work to do around the defensive tackle position. I think we have some work to do, all right? Defensive end. Let's talk about the defensive end for a second, all right? Brian Burns playing out of his mind right now. He is the highest graded Carolina Panther, offense or defense. He's the highest graded Carolina Panther. Listen, look at this. He's overplaying his contract by $10 million. Okay, he's balling, and this is what you want to see when you have a guy under rookie contract doing these kind of things. That's what you want to see, doing big things. Love Brian Burns, and look forward to see him in the future. We have nowhere to go but up from here. Yetur Gross-Matos was playing well before he got hurt. Again, under contract through 2024. And the reason why these are the same is because of the 5th-year option. We have the 5th-year option on Brian. I know you're looking at this like, hey, he's a rookie. He's not a rookie. But the thing is, we have the 5th-year option, which pushes his contract out to 2024. I hope that makes sense. But Yetur Gross-Matos was playing well. Again, maybe not up to his current value, but again, injury has something to do with that. Being injured does have something to do with this, so I don't have any concerns about Yetur. Expect him to get better. So we're looking good there. We have 2 young pieces to work with. Austin Larkin, we do have him tagged as an exclusive rights free agent. I keep saying tagged. It's not. We have an exclusive right designation on him as far as free agency is concerned. So he's playing well. He's playing okay. And is not a lot of sample size from him, but in what he's been given, he's been playing solid, okay? That may be a guy that can provide some rotational value long term. We'll see what happens there. He's young, only 25. F.A. Obata, he's 28 years old. He's starting to get up there. Not playing too great, but we have he's a restricted free agent, so somebody's got to give us some money. He is overplaying his contract a little bit, which is, that's okay. Just a solid rotational guy. Marquise Haynes, not playing that great. Stephen Weatherly is not doing that great at all. He is currently being paid $6 million a year, but he's only playing at a $3 million level. That's going to be somewhere we can get some cap savings back for next year. Again, he's still young, still relatively young. Him and Marquise Haynes are the same age. I didn't even know that. I just realized that. But they're also playing at the same level, and one guy's getting paid much more than the other guy. So we need to look to move on from Stephen Weatherly. We can find another defensive another defensive end in the draft that can pretty much duplicate this production, I'm assuming. So I will look to move on from Weatherly. That's somewhere we can get some cap savings. We'll dive into that once we pull up the cap calculator. All right, so that's the defensive ends. Let's take a look at the safeties. Let's throw the free safeties in there. Free safety. Yep, here we go. So all the safeties that we have. Let's take a look. So not looking good. Not looking good here. I don't know why Chin is here. Well, I do know why Chin is here. He's listed as a safety. And this is what this number is concerning for me. I don't think it's quite accurate because he's probably being graded as a safety, but he lines up so many other places that it's difficult to put him in a box and try to grade him to a position. So that's why this and these two values, I don't really pay attention to them. I think Jeremy Chin is playing way above his current annual salary of $1.3 million. I think he's way better than that. And I don't like this grade for Jeremy Chin. But we know he's a young guy, and I think he's got a whole lot of football ahead of him, and I think he's going to do nothing but get better. Now, as far as the future, listen, we need some help here. Sam Franklin's the best graded safety that we have. He's young. He's a restricted free agent under contract for another couple years. He's a Matt Rule guy. He's currently playing at a $3 million level, overplaying his contract by $2 million. So, I don't know. This is a guy that could emerge. I think it's a bit early to dictate that, but we'll see what happens there. Trey Boston, not playing so well. He is currently underplaying his contract by about $3 million. That may be another place where you look to get some money back. We may regret giving him that contract, but he's under contract for another couple years. So, listen, we got to, I don't know. It's tough sledding in the safety area. It's not looking good. We do have Justin Burris, who was playing okay until he got injured. Again, this value doesn't take into account injury. So, again, that's why that value may be a little low. But he was playing okay, just okay. I think he was playing at this 55.6 grade before he got hurt. So we need some work to improve on the safeties. I think this is somewhere we can get a true, if you're going to line Jeremy Chin up at safety, okay, line him up all over the place, that's cool. But I think we really need to solidify that safety position. Someone that's going to be a full-time strong safety. Sam Franklin could be that guy. I don't know. Maybe in a couple more games. Maybe he overtakes Justin Burris. Maybe we look to get some of that money back from Justin Burris. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But we need to look to improve the safety position. All right. Let's look at the cornerbacks. Cornerbacks could get interesting. Cornerbacks. Here we go. All right. So let me sort this the proper way. All right. So Rasul Douglas. This is where it gets interesting, folks. Rasul Douglas was playing great before he got the COVID. Again, outplaying his contract by $9 million. He's playing at a $10 million level, and he is a free agent next year. So, really difficult. I think we need to look into re-signing him long term. He's only 25 years old. Again, I repeat that. He's only 25 years old. I would try to get him under contract. I think he's going to be really good. I think he's going to be peaking when we peak as a team. I think he's going to be peaking when we peak as a team. So this is a guy you want to keep on your roster. We got to find a way to make that happen. That's a guy I'm definitely trying to re-sign. Corn Elder. This is another guy that has been playing well. 67.6 PFF grade. He's actually a free agent as well. the good thing about this contract is we have him as a restricted free agent, so we have the rights. This could be one where he negotiates with another team. We offer that we get it to have the opportunity to match that offer or hit him with a tender. We put a first, second round tender on him. We're able to get a pick for him. Or if he signs with another team, we could get a comp pick. But this is one to watch. Now, I don't know if I'm going out to pay Corn Elder $8 million a year. I don't think that's going to happen. But this is just one to watch because we have the rights to his contract. So keep an eye on Corn Elder. Keep an eye on what happens with Corn Elder. He could improve moving forward. It could get better. That number's going to go up. Let's see what happens with Corn Elder. That's just one to watch. Keep an eye on that. Dante Jackson, playing okay. He's playing okay. We got him on the contract for another year. He becomes a free agent in 2022. So we got to see what's going on with that. We got to check into Dante. He's playing at a $6.7 million range. I think that's about right. For Dante. But again, he's under his rookie contract, so we don't really have to worry about that right now. Maybe next year we kind of dive into that discussion. But right now, Dante's okay. We don't have to worry about Dante. Miles Hartsfield, he's playing all over the place. Kind of hard to grade him. Troy Pride not playing that great, but he's a rookie, a 4th round pick at that. He's going to develop. This is a position that we need to focus on. We need to focus on keeping what we have and also improving at the same time. We cannot get content. With this right here. I think we are currently getting exposed right now in our secondary because Rasul Douglas is hurt. Once he comes back, I think our secondary will improve. We got to focus on keeping that and improving, okay? We got to keep that and improve. All right, what positions did we miss? The linebackers. We missed the linebackers, guys. The linebackers. Let's check them out. Check out the linebackers, all right? Ooh, this is ugly. This is definitely a position that we need to look at 100%. 100%, all right? This is the ugliest, probably right along with the offensive line. This is pretty ugly, okay? Jermaine Carter is the highest graded linebacker we have. Put that into context. He doesn't have that many snaps, so I'm going to disregard this 67.3 grade. I don't think it's valid, 100% valid. I think might be playing okay, but I don't think that's 100% valid. PFF also incorporates special team snaps as well, so you got to kind of be mindful of this grade. I don't know if it's 100% accurate, but we have him under contract for another year. He becomes a free agent in 2022. And he's currently outplaying his contract. That's all right. But this guy right here, Shaq Thompson, not playing well at all. 26-year-old. This is one where we might regret. We may have regretted giving this man this kind of money. He's getting paid $13 million a year. You know who else could be getting $13 million a year? Taylor Moden. We probably should have extended Taylor Moden instead of Shaq Thompson. This is one that we're going to regret. He is not playing up to his contract value at all. And that's where this is an ugly situation because, listen, his contract expires in 2024. We got him on the contract for a while, and he's not playing up to his contract. You never want to see a guy not play up to their contract with this much time left on it. That is not good. Shaq Thompson, we regret. This was a bad move. This is not good. This is not good right here. It's early, week 8, but I don't think we have enough information to go off what we're seeing right now. And I think this is where we regret this. Marty Hurney looks back. This is not good. This is not good at all. So keep an eye on this. We'll look to see. We might be able to move on. We might be able to move on from Shaq Thompson next year with minimal hit. We'll see what happens when we start playing with the calculator. Darius Taylor, it is what it is, but we're going to lose him. He's a bit older too. It is what it is with Darius. Tahir Whitehead, again, I brought this up on the show on Monday. He's getting paid $2.5 million. You can't expect Luke Kuechly numbers when he's getting paid $2.5 million. He is, in fact, the worst graded Carolina Panther on the roster. He is the worst graded Carolina Panther on the roster. He's 30 years old. He's a free agent next year. I expect us to move on from Tahir. It just is what it is. I think he was a Band-Aid coming into the season just to get through. And I think that Band-Aid ripped off I think it fell off. The Band-Aid fell off in week 1, and we didn't. We're scabbing up right now. We're scabbing up. That's where we're in a position of hurt right now. Okay, we're scabbing up, trying to just get through the season before we can get into surgery. So in the off season, we get into surgery. So, but I will say this. This is where we got to pump the brakes a little bit on bringing in guys, because we got a guy like Jordan Mack. Jordan Mack was a guy that was highly touted coming out of Virginia, and we don't know what we have. We don't know what we have in Jordan Mack, so there's no need to hit the panic button this season when there's really nothing to play for. There's really nothing to play for this year. There's no need for us to mortgage off future picks when you don't know what you have in a certain guy. Jordan Mack opted out along with Christian Miller. Christian Miller is another outside linebacker that opted out. I don't know if he's going to be a traditional outside linebacker or if he's going to be that tweener guy, similar to what Chin is doing, playing a little bit more on the defensive front side. We'll see what happens. I don't know what's gonna go on with Christian Miller, but they both opted out, so we don't know what we have here in these linebackers. So we got to be a little careful and pump the brakes on trying to load up on linebackers when we have these two guys waiting in the wing. Julian Stanford's another guy. I think he plays some special teams. I don't know where Julian Stanford is. Another thing we got to talk about that I haven't really jumped into is the guys that are in on the practice squad. We can sign those guys to futures contracts, which gives us the right to sign them in the offseason. That's a whole nother discussion. But Chris Orr is another guy that's an inside linebacker that we have on the practice squad that we could sign to a futures contract that could allow us to at least kind of see what we have here before we decide to upgrade in free agency and whatnot. So again, we have to upgrade our linebackers. That is a position of hurt right now. Yes, we could look to improve in a draft. That could happen. But we also have these guys waiting in the wing. And I think that's why you saw Marty Hurney and company stand pat on where they are. Okay? So have we hit all the positions? I think we hit all the positions, guys. So let's meet me back on the other side. All right, what's good, Panther Nation? So look, you guys saw the evidence, okay? You guys saw the evidence. And it's easier. We know we're hurting an offensive line. We know that. We know we're hurting a linebacker. We know that, okay? Those are two positions of need that we need to address, and we know that. But it's different seeing it in this fashion. It's different when you see with the linebackers, you made a huge mistake signing Shaq Thompson. He's not living up to that contract so far. I don't know what our options are. We could cut him. We're going to add to the dead money. I don't know if we're going to do that. But that Shaq Thompson contract was critical, okay? Especially when you have a guy like Taylor Moton. Listen, you had a guy like Taylor Moton. You could have shifted that $13 million to him and let Shaq Thompson walk, especially when he's not playing up to the level that he should, okay? Taylor Moton is playing well. Those are the guys you need to re-sign. And that's why I started this series, so we can identify those guys ahead of time. We can assess up front when it happens, was that a good signing or was it not a good signing? That's why I started this series, okay? So in the next episode, we're going to dive a little deeper into those free agents. We're going to dive a little deeper into the upcoming free agents, kind of see what their market value is, assess where they are, who we should sign, who we should not sign, and what kind of money we get back for moving on for guys that we identified here. That's what we're going to do next time, all right? So make sure you keep watching. This is going to get really interesting, okay? Keep watching. I hope you're learning something. If you have any questions, any comments, if I missed something, make sure you get in the comment section so I can address those. It's going to get fun, all right? That being said, I love y'all. Thank you for watching. Peace out. Keep pounding.